Planet Vero Studios, brought to you by Evergreen Media, creating cohesive marketing campaigns. Evergreen Media in Vero Beach.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Growing Old Fearlessly. I am your host, Julie, and I want to thank Evergreen Media for making this show possible. If you would like to host your own show, you can reach them at egreenmedia.com. So this show is about navigating the process of getting older one day at a time, whether it's us, an elderly parent, a neighbor, a close friend. It's all about growing older and doing it fearlessly. So today in specific, I want to talk about staying healthy and well while you're in your own home. And for that, I have a quote from Rosalind Carter. She said, "There are only 4 kinds of people in the world: those who have been caregivers, those who are currently caregivers, those who will be caregivers, and those who will need a caregiver." And that is why we're here today. I would love to have this conversation with 2 of my friends, and I have here in the studio Heather Hawk.
Hello.
And Janine Barrows.
Hi.
Welcome. I'm so glad that you were able to make it today.
Thank you.
And
Grateful to be here.
So let's get right on with it. And we're going to start with Heather. Heather, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay.
Because you do work for a home health agency.
I do. My name is Heather Hawk. I am from Vero, native Vero person, and I work for Activa Home Health. Activa has been around for over 15 years. We service from Indian River County all the way down to Broward and over to Okeechobee. So, and then we also, what we do is we provide, we're Medicare certified, and we also provide skilled nursing, which would be, let's say, your med management, wound care, diabetes, education. We also can provide physical therapy, and with that being, post-op, hips and knee surgeries. And then we can do fall prevention in the home. Someone's getting weaker, we can come in the home and really help them in the home, which is great. And then we also do lymphedema therapy. And then we do speech therapy as well as occupational therapy. And the best part about it is, again, like I mentioned, everything is in home.
And everybody wants to stay at home as long as possible.
They do. And our goal, is to keep the patient at home, out of the hospital.
Right.
And that's our number one goal. Whether we get the referral from the hospital or from the doctor, or whether I meet someone out and they say their mom or dad, is really struggling and they've noticed a difference, with their strength and things, we can also get a referral from the doctor's office. So it's as simple as that. And Medicare pays for it at 100%.
That is great.
And they deserve that.
That is very important.
We've all put in for, Medicare, we deserve that. They deserve that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, being someone whose dad is old, he's 90. Hi, Daddy.
Yes.
He's my number 1 fan. He'll be watching this later.
Great.
But yes, and he's had to use home health care through Medicare, and also he's had help from the veterans. So that's a lot of assistance.
Which I definitely want to touch on, because we have a wonderful VA program that a lot of people don't know about. So we have a specific team that works with our vets. And there's a lot of things out there that the vets don't know they can have. And Janine could probably touch a little bit based on that on the private side. So, but they will pay for in-home care as well. And if they're not sure, we will navigate that for
that
them.
Is great.
Yep.
That is great.
And the family.
And we will give your contact information towards the end of the show.
Great.
So if anybody
Please.
needs to know how to get a hold of you and find out more about those veteran
Absolutely.
services. Janine, welcome.
Hi. No, thank you for having us.
So tell us about yourself.
So my name is Janine Barrows, and I am with Nightingale Private Care here, based out of the Vero Beach office. Unlike Heather, I'm not a local, but I've been here for 24 years, so I kind of feel like a local.
That almost makes you local.
Kind of, sort of. But I absolutely love the industry that I work in. It is all about assisting individuals so that they can remain in their home environments and continue to have some autonomy over their life skills and daily activities. And when you get to improve somebody's quality of life through just a little bit of a helping hand, it feels really great. So it's one of my favorite things to do.
Great. And that's with Nightingale Private Care.
Correct.
So what kind of services do they provide?
Nightingale was actually born here in Vero Beach in 1998, so we're over 20 years old.
Oh.
And we do private duty private care services. So generally speaking, that means a home health aide. When people think of private care, they think home health aide, somebody who's going to come in, maybe assist with dressing or hygiene, some light cooking or light housekeeping, transportation, maybe getting their groceries done. So we do all of those traditional home health services, but we also do above and beyond. So we offer med management, which is oversighted by an RN case manager. And for the individuals that would utilize that, they're most likely the people who, what we call maybe frequent flyers, individuals who find themselves in the hospital or ER often because they've mismanaged their medication. I don't know about you, but I've known people in my own family who took 2 of their blood pressure meds in the evening instead of splitting it up in morning and night, and they're on the ground, and that's a very easily managed thing to avoid when you're living independently with just a little assistance with a clinical RN nurse. They could come in, they help them every week or biweekly depending on their needs, make sure the meds are appropriate, make sure the physicians are in line with the medications they're taking, because sometimes they say, hey, don't take that, Mr. Smith, but he forgets and it gets delivered because it wasn't canceled off the 90-day, and they continue, and we catch those kind of situations and put a stop to that and make it a lot easier. We also do skilled nursing when it's not covered by Medicare. So we have nurses that can come in and do wound care and things of that sort if it's not a Medicare covered service. Okay. And then we do case management as well. So if your mom lives down here and she lives solo and you live in Connecticut and you're worried about her making it to her doctor's appointments and making sure to communicate the information from the physician appointments back to the POA and family members, we can bring in an RN case manager, hire them in, bring them part of the team for the family, and then we can come in and oversight and help them in that way too. So it's not just home health services anymore. It's expanded significantly, and all while being oversighted by a nurse case manager.
That is fantastic. I know that I have been out and about, and there's a little restaurant a couple blocks away from here that has a hair salon right next to it. And so many times I've gone to the little restaurant, but I see an older, mature woman walking out from the hair salon with somebody assisting her, somebody else who's driving her. And I always wonder, I wonder if that's like, a home health aide.
It is. It's exactly what it is. It's about quality of life. I'll tell you, a few years ago, we had a gentleman who was a lifeguard in his youth, and he was now wheelchair bound. And he wasn't bound like he couldn't get out to transfer into the car and back, but he no longer drove and there wasn't anybody in the environment around him. And so before the beach side on Vero got washed out by the boardwalk, we used to pick him up every Wednesday and drive him to the boardwalk, transfer him into the portable chair and get him up on the boardwalk where he could enjoy an hour of sunshine and the sound of the lapping ocean. And he said to us until the end of our services with him what a wonderful thing that was for him and how much he looked forward to it. So it can be just as simply as something that makes you feel good, or absolutely a physical need that's challenged at the time.
That is
hair
great.
Salons, going to church, going to even some of the stretching groups that they belong to, or outpatient rehabs, or even going to the club with friends. That's definitely a part of those kind of services.
That is fantastic. So what is the biggest difference between Activa and Nightingale?
So the difference is what we do is Medicare will pay for. So your skilled nursing, your PT, OT, and it's more of a shorter term. They come out of the hospital or the doctor refers them, something new. So we're just trying to get them to what their new daily living is going to be. And then that's when
and then on the private duty side, private duty is private pay. So it's out of pocket unless you have invested in and are ready to open a long-term care policy. So we uniquely in our company, we actually have an entire long-term care policy division. So when those clients come into play, we assist them to make it as seamless as possible to open those policies and communicate with those policy holders on their behalf. But generally speaking, private duty is a private pay service.
Okay.
I would like to say, and this just for the listeners out there, so let's say you have a loved one, you've noticed something drastically happen in the home, or maybe they had a fall, or maybe they just have really declined, and you're just like, can they get some physical therapy in the home? Can they, absolutely. So all you have to do is just reach out to your doctor, or you could call me, I definitely can help navigate it, or reach out to your doctor or their doctor and just say, I've really noticed a decline or whatever the issue is, and the doctor can order the home health, which is so nice. So, maybe they had a fall and they have like a bad skin tear. We can do the wound care. We can come in. You don't have to go to the ER. They don't have to do that.
And Medicare will take care of it.
And Medicare will pay for it, which is great. All we need is a doctor's order. The patient has to be somewhat homebound, meaning it's more taxing for them to get out.
Right.
Doesn't mean they're laying in the bed like that. It's a little more taxing for them to get out.
Can't drive, can't go anywhere.
Well, they can go to the store. They can do stuff like that. But it's just a lot. It's more taxing for them to have to go to therapy, outpatient therapy, go to the doctors to get this wound care. Maybe it's 2 or 3 times a week. That's a lot. I know for my granny, she's actually on services with us right now. She's 94. It is hard to get her out. She gets tired very easily.
Yes.
It's a lot.
Yes.
So right now, we're able to see her in the home. She had some issues, so she went to the hospital and we've got her. But yeah, so it's just a simple call to the doctor's office.
And sometimes it's just a lot easier for the person to heal at home.
Absolutely.
Because they're not hospital bound.
No.
They're not, in the hospital, they get depressed. They feel like, oh, this is it. I have no need to keep going.
Mindset is disrupted when we're removed out of our comfortable environments. And I don't know the last time you had to actually sleep overnight in a hospital. It's very difficult. It's bells and whistles and doors and people coming in and checking your blood pressure at 3 a.m. And I really don't know who made that rule, but it probably isn't a very kind rule in the hospital.
Oh, it isn't.
Right.
I know my dad hates it. But tell you what, we need to take a quick little break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the weather, the heat that is
brutal
everywhere.
It's brutal.
We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Ralph Winook with Dale Sorensen Real Estate and ResidentialRalph.com. When you're interested in buying or selling a home, contact me. As your agent, I will work nonstop to ensure that your buying or selling experience is smooth and stress-free. I will be there for you at every stage of the process to answer your questions and help you make an informed decision. So, why wait? Contact me, Ralph Winook, and schedule a consultation with me today. Visit ResidentialRalph.com. That's right, ResidentialRalph.com.
Some assisted living facilities just feel like home. At Spring Hills Assisted Living Facility, residents love the clean, comfortable feel, the cozy, friendly atmosphere, and the individualized care. It just feels right. And at Spring Hills Assisted Living Facility, residents are served by a staff who provides compassion, lots of one-on-one time, and care that's focused on their specific needs. It just feels like home. Spring Hills Assisted Living Facility, off State Road 60 in Vero Beach. Online at springhillsalf.com.
This summer's a great time to pack up the family and explore new frontiers in a Sun Camper RV. Our prices are hotter than the sun, and right now you can take advantage of wholesale pricing on all new Sun Camper RVs. That's right, all of our top quality, fully equipped RVs, 30 to 35% below retail. School's out, the great outdoors are calling. Save 30 to 35% on all new Sun Camper RVs. Your summer adventure starts at Sun Camper RV. Advertising is essential. You've got to make people aware that you're there. We can do that with a cohesive marketing campaign from Evergreen Media. Based on your business goals, we'll create a mix of digital advertising on social media sites like Facebook, video advertising on streaming sites like Hulu and Paramount Plus, and supplement them with local TV and radio ads. Build awareness, educate, and inform the public with a cohesive marketing campaign by Evergreen Media. Check out egreenmedia.com or search online for Evergreen Media in Vero Beach.
Uh-oh. Welcome back to Growing Old Fearlessly. I want to thank my sponsor for this portion of the show, Ralph Wanook, Residential Ralph with Dale Sorensen Real Estate. If you have a need for buying or selling, give him a call, and his number and all of his information is on his website, residentialralph.com. So we are here talking to Heather and with Janine, and we need to talk about the heat outside, because we are getting heat advisories here in Indian River County on a daily basis. And
It is the one thing the weather's getting right.
oh, absolutely. Just weather people,
They're getting those right.
They don't know whether it's going to rain or not, but they do
The heat
know that there
advisory,
is a
yes,
heat
for
advisory.
sure.
And one of or a group of people that get more affected with the heat is the elderly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So some of the problems that happen with elderly, and the number one is dehydration, which actually that also happens even without the heat advisory.
Exactly,
a lot of elderly people decide not to drink a lot of fluids. Sometimes it's the men because it makes them go a lot.
Exactly. Yep. That's the
So
struggle.
anyway, but dehydration, that's, water loss. It's a huge problem during this heat. Heat stroke. And of course, I had to look up what all these things really meant. And heat stroke is the body temperature rising, and it could be deadly. Oof.
Yes, yes.
Heat exhaustion, it's too much heat and dehydration altogether. And the other one that I had to ask how to say this word, heat syncope.
Yep.
Fainting because of the high temperatures. So these are all things that the elderly have to be careful with. And I'm sure that with having your agencies going into their homes to take care of them, they also assist them so that they don't have to go outside and be exposed to the sun and the heat and all that.
They sure do.
The National Institute of Aging has some warnings because older people have a tougher time dealing with heat and humidity. And so they said a few things, and you can tell me how, this applies. Get out of the sun and into a cool, ideally air-conditioned place. Hopefully all of the people...
All of Florida. Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
it would have to... I mean, I'm sure that there are some people that don't have air conditioning, but it's not the majority.
Right.
I mean, we do live in Florida.
Yes.
We have air conditioning in all of our homes.
And just encourage them if they do, because a lot of them love to get the fresh air and be outside early in the morning. Go early in the morning. I mean, I
Before
would
10.
say later in the evening, but it's still pretty hot later in the evening. But early in the morning is nice if they want to be outside.
Right. My dad was telling me that they took him out for a walk today. And when I say for a walk, is they wheel him, right?
Yeah.
But it was early in the day. So he got a little bit of sunlight, which he needs.
Right.
But he also got the fresh air, but not the heat of the middle of the day.
And we all know that as you get older, they tend to like it hot.
I was just going to say,
Yes.
it's a fine line for the seniors. I know for myself and for you, I'm assuming when you get hot, you want to go into an air-conditioned room. Right. Oh, I've gone outside, I've unloaded my car, I'm going to go into the house. Oh, it feels so good. But it's not the same experience for them. And that's why there's so much more at risk of heat stroke and heat exhaustion or passing out from the heat than you or I most likely. Heat causes swelling in our body. And so we also have edema that begins by excessive heat with those that already have vascular issues. So it causes some of that for them. But they don't go retreat back into the air condition because, as Heather just said, most of them want to be in a warm environment. If you ever see somebody out in the sun in a wheelchair with a blanket, they're probably over 80 years old and they're probably very happy. But when you add a heat index of 113,
Right.
and you add 95% humidity to that scenario, you really talk about a dangerous situation. As I mentioned, the swelling, as you mentioned, the fainting, the exhaustion that comes from it. And the way we resolve that and how their comfort level is by getting them out of those environments and then addressing the experience. They are definitely at a much higher risk than myself and my friend Heather, because their body is not designed. They don't know how to regulate their own body temperature. And then you add the fact that they already have likely vascular issues. And then you combine those two things, they are extreme risk in the heat.
Yeah. So one of the other things that is suggested, obviously, is to drink a lot of fluids, whether it's water, whether it's fruit or vegetable juices, to avoid alcohol, avoid caffeine, because that dehydrates you further. I know that with my dad, even before the heat, he is now used to drinking his vitamin water. Every single day, I buy it by the case, and he loves it. He loves it. It's like, and at first it was a struggle because he was like, no, I don't want to be drinking so much. And I'm like, but Dad, it helps with your brain. It helps you to remember things when you get confused.
Yeah. All of our organs are happy when we give them enough water.
He says that my solution to everything is, did you drink your water?
I know.
But this vitamin water, and they're not paying for this show, this vitamin water is fabulous and is really good for him.
And there's all different kinds out there.
The variety allows them to mix it up so they don't get bored.
It has the electrolytes too to help.
And they
his
even
body.
have sugar-free for the ones who are diabetic, just so you know. I mean, they still have the vitamins and everything.
Perfect. Perfect. So those things, stay out of the sun, stay indoors in an air-conditioned place, maybe lie down, hydrate.
Yes.
The other one was like they can take a shower, a cooler shower, or take maybe like a little sponge bath or something to cool their skin down.
Yes.
So, and those are all things that here in Florida, we need.
They can still get in the pool. They can get in the pool.
So and they can also dress with, the fabric can be more lightweight, a little bit looser.
So I'll tell you a quick story. I was driving away from the hospital where, of course, in our industry, we spend quite a bit of time in the hospital environments with families. And there was literally a gentleman on the side of 37th Avenue, flipped over with his bike, and he was laying in the grass, strewn out like such. And, we pulled over because, of course, you can't ignore that. And it was just simply dehydration. And he was a gentleman in his late 60s who rode every day, 10 miles a day. And this was his regular routine. But the heat was so intense that even drinking as much water as he did and with as much knowledge as he had, still found himself on the side of the road like that.
Wow, that's tough.
So it's intense. It's no joke.
Yeah. So everybody take care of yourselves. You wanted to talk a little bit more about the veteran services, and we only have about a couple minutes left.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have a VA team, special VA team that can offer the nursing and therapy and everything in the home as well. It's the same as Activa. And VA, it'll pay for it. And then we have the private side, which is the 8 and the 10, which she can a little bit more on that. Elaborate on that, please.
So, yeah, absolutely. Heather's was talking briefly about the pension side of it. So it's pension earned and it's services earned, and it's part of a project that they have when they have a case manager. Aid in attendance is a caveat that is provided by the VA as well as third-party groups that assist the VA in doing it. And what it does is if a veteran or a surviving veteran's spouse has a need for assistance with daily living activities, which means they need a home health aide or somebody to help their quality of life, and they qualify within it, they could be eligible to actually receive financial deposits into their accounts to pay for said services, giving them that quality and independence back in their world.
That is great.
And we help people facilitate that.
That is awesome. So if we need any more information, I'm just going to say this really quickly because we have one more thing that Janine wants to talk about. If you need to reach Heather Hawk at Activa Home Health, her cell number is 772-584-6774. Her email address is heather.hawk@activahh.com. And for Janine, let me make sure that you all know it's Janean. So Janine at nightingaleprivatecare.com, and her number is 772-559-0205 if you need any more information on anything of what we have spoken about here today. I want to end the podcast today with a quote by Mother Teresa. She said, "It is not how much you do, but how much love you put in the doing." Everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you for having us.